Alrighty, Cole. I appreciate you joining us here today. Cole is a recent student of mine and recently is eligible for his first payout, 3.5K. So haven't even been working with him for too long. And, even with Cole, we started before December. So that whole month of December, we weren't even trading, as most of you probably, because December price action. So I will let Cole kind of take it away, tell him how he got into trading, some of the issues that he faced at the start, so you guys can hear more about his story.
Yeah, so I originally got into trading about 2 years ago in high school. I'm currently 19 right now. In high school, you're like, coming out of high school, you're like, what do I want to do? And I was kind of just going through everything. Um, Landed on TJR's Instagram page and was like, okay, well, maybe trading, I'm seeing success right now. Maybe this is the thing that can bring me success. And in the beginning, I was first on paper trading on MetaTrader 4, probably as most people were, probably flexing their fake
Yeah.
accounts and stuff like that. But so I started on that, started, winning or whatever on there, and then it MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 aren't the best options, but that's kind of how I got started. Then I switched over to Hero FX, which was probably the worst decision I ever made, to be honest. Pretty much got scammed out of like $2,500.
Yeah, quick PSA, guys. Anybody watching this case study, do not use HeroFX. Any money that you put into that live broker, you cannot withdraw it. You have to trade with that money, and you can only withdraw profits. So they're just scamming, and TJR makes all the commission off of it.
2,500 into that account. Also bought some I think 10K accounts on Hero FX, which like I'm super beginning and new at trading. I didn't know that you couldn't even like trade NASDAQ with only $2,500. So like that live account's pretty much like gone. The ROI, that's not even there anymore. Then I switched over to Alpha because I saw Jack on my Instagram, and it's always different when you kind of have someone super, not relatable, but like he lives in my city as well. So like I know this guy's not going to do me dirty. And like I started trading on Alpha. I was literally probably blowing accounts. I was probably spending $150 every other day because I was buying 100K standards. I didn't know 50K was the best.
Yeah.
But I was literally like, my mental was so chalked. It was so bad.
And that's how a lot of people are out there. That's how 99% of the trading industry is. Why do you think these prop firms do millions of dollars a month? Because people are in that exact same state still.
Jack taught me to pretty much, you want to rinse these prop firms while you have them right now. And he had reached out to me and asked me about a mentorship, kind of. And I was like, he said he offered a mentorship. And I was like, obviously being myself, and probably everybody else was thinking the same thing, like, oh, I've got this on my own. Like, why would I need someone else's help? I will tell you right now, in this very second, you will not make it if you do not have a mentor in trading, because the ability to make money in the markets for only 2 hours every single day, to make thousands of dollars, by the way, in those 2 hours, it's the most mentally draining job ever. People blow accounts all the time. I've blown plenty of accounts. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody.
Same here. Everybody in the trading industry blows accounts. Even when you guys are consistently making thousands of dollars a month from prop firms, you're still going to be blowing some accounts. And you have to be okay with that psychology-wise and knowing that your model has a win rate in the end.
This thing for me was definitely being put on with not only back testing, not only the live discords, but the one-on-one calls, because like you're taking in the information. It's always different. Like even in school, like 20 classmates and one teacher, you're not going to be soaking in up all the information and not going to be able to ask all the questions you need to ask. Like you can ask anything you want. Nothing's a dumb
Exactly.
question, because everybody's been through the same thing. So
I think another important thing to note is you came to me first asking questions. Oh, yeah, what futures prop firm is the best? Alpha Futures, stuff like that. And I think you asked me a couple more questions. And then I ultimately asked you, like, are you taking consistent payouts yet? Like, how is trading going? And then that's when you finally told me you were just like, no, honestly, like my psychology's bad. I don't really have that good of a model or understanding about the market. And then that's where I was just like, Cole, I have a spot open for the 101 right now. I think it could really help you and bring you to the next level within your trading. And now here we are 2 months later, and you're eligible for a 3.5K payout. So
Honestly is exciting. Like, and even thinking that, like, going back 2 months, like, no joke, I thought what TJR was doing was honestly like good and like everything like that. Like, I think maturing is also realizing like TJR, he's someone to aspire to be, but not really someone to like look up to in the trading scene ish.
exactly.
Especially like he doesn't really follow his own rules and stuff.
Yeah, like when you came to me, Cole, we knew that your psychology was an issue. You were blowing accounts left and right, alpha futures, like you said. I mean, you were spending 150 bucks every other day on accounts. With that, you also didn't have a good model. All you did was watch TJR, right? He doesn't really trade a profitable way, if I'm going to be completely honest. People will say, oh yeah, TJR, he makes so much money. He makes money from other things, all right? He's not making money from trading. And I think that was the biggest thing that helped you was having somebody that could teach you a profitable model and, more importantly, a mindset to go about the market, because you're not able to get that from just watching a YouTube video. You get that from having a personal connection or even a one-on-one call with somebody who's in that position that you're trying to get to, who knows that mindset that you have to have when you're trading these markets. Because these markets are so mentally draining, and everybody will tell you that. I mean, that's why 99% of people cannot do it. And I mean, it makes sense as to why, because it is so mentally draining on somebody. And that's honestly the biggest thing, and that's why I preach, one-on-one, like actual one-on-one calls, mentorship. All these people do group calls. Like, yes, I mean, maybe you get a couple of your questions answered, but you're not getting that one-on-one help, which is ultimately going to take you to that next level.
You can sit in these Discord calls and take the exact same trade as the trader is, like, or whoever's doing but you're not learning anything. Trading is all discretionary, and it's all based on like, if this is your setup, then and it meets your rule. Everybody has different rules, but if it meets your rules, then it makes sense to take.
Yep.
And I think that once a lot of the one-on-one calls definitely help with that, but most importantly, the back testing. Once you really lock yourself down on a model, back testing is so fun to me, because now it's literally just like I can see it and just picture it, and then it happens, and then I'm taking a long or a short because of, I mean, I don't know, it's
basically created the intuition and the conviction behind the model. And I think the one-on-one calls did primarily lead to that, because we did back testing on there. I mean, who else is doing back testing one-on-one calls with their students? And that's honestly what's probably helped you the most, because we would talk about psychology throughout those calls. We would talk about when to stay out of bad market conditions. And with that, all those videos were recorded. You could go back on those and watch those. Crazy to see how far you've come. And I would honestly say a little time actually trading together, because we missed like the past 3 weeks from holiday PA.
Wasn't even on the market
At all for December.
Oh, I just wasn't even looking. Yeah. So like these earnings are actually pretty much from like 2 weeks. Like,
yeah, maybe 3 weeks.
And then like a little bit of November.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you also brought up the live Discord and whatever. Yes, I have a free Discord live trading where I do everything in. You don't need to be a one-on-one mentorship student to join that live trading or whatever. But you as a student, you're able to still join that live trading and still know when to take those trades that I'm going to be taking, because it's my model. Yes, exactly. And literally bring it back to last week. I ended up taking a short earlier in the day, like 10 a.m. Then 11 a.m., we ended up getting a perfect mech model short to equal lows, and you took it. I didn't even take it, because I was already one and done. But you took it because you know the model and you have the conviction.
I think that's the best part, is when you actually, it's kind of like that light bulb moment when you just realize like you can actually like do this.
You're not going to get that from just copying somebody's trades all the time. Like people who sell just a signal service. Like, oh yeah, pay me 100 a month and I'll give you all my signals. You're not going to learn to become profitable on your own. All right. Like, in all honesty, you don't have to join my live calls every morning. Yes, it helps because you can ask questions and whatnot, but you know how to trade on your own and everything. Like, you can do it all on your own. You have that conviction yourself. You know the model. It goes further. Let's just say journaling. Journaling is a huge part of trading. And I think, before we started working with each other, you didn't essentially understand the importance of that or even know how to go about it. And, we developed a way for you to have a good journal and a good way to actually record all your trades, your daily bias, and all of that so that you can reflect on that.
Not even perfect yet. I don't do the daily bias every morning, but I always do my trade recaps. Yeah.
Hey, trading is always a continuous game. You're always learning. Same with me. I'm always learning and evolving with this. All right. It's a lifelong skill. But yeah, I want you, Cole, tell some people out there how you kind of got past your struggle stage with trading. Because I'm sure when you were blowing accounts left and right, you were just like, wow, like, can I even make money with this? And then, that ultimately led you to taking the risk with the mentorship. And here we are now, where you're taking your first payout.
Honest, I always knew it was possible seeing someone like still from my city who's like obviously in the position I want to be in. Learning the trading itself is always going to be the easiest part. The hardest part is always going to be the mental and just seeing. Here's what old me would have done. I would have seen Jack taking a trade. I would have been on the live Discord, seen Jack taking a trade. It would have already, let's say it's a sell position. It would have already gone down. I would have taken the trade when it just went down, and then I would have got break even on a little retracement up. But his trade would have eventually, not his stop loss, and went all the way down to take profit, and I would have got stopped out. That's where you need to build your own conviction, and not only that, but
I think it's your own sense of awareness within the market, and that's what you've built.
yeah.
And a lot of that was done through conviction within the model. A lot of people out there, they have shiny object syndrome. They see all these people top and bottom ticking, order flow trading, trend line trading, literally anything. A lot of people will see people make money online and say, oh, that's how I should be trading. When in reality, you need to stick to something that's simple, that's easy. All right. And that's what mech model is. It is so easy to understand the mechanical model because it's a way that the market just moves in general. The market has to rebalance these ranges. All right. We can target these. All right. Like the strategy itself, like you said, it's not hard, especially when you're doing one-on-one calls back testing. Like I would honestly say you mastered the model probably like 2 weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, once again, the model's easy. The hardest part is always the mental because you're seeing people win, and when you don't understand the model first off, then you're like, well, where am I at? Where do I land? But then when you do understand the model, you start to get a sense for it, but you're still taking trades you shouldn't be taking because your rules are not in place. But when you have that accountability buddy and you have that person that you are doing these one-on-one calls and that are literally going to call you out on your bullshit as well, you know what I mean? So
I love that point that you brought up. A lot of people just can't stick to the rules. They can't hold themselves to that accountability and have that discipline. And you've gotten to the point where you've built that within yourself. And I definitely will say the one-on-one calls helped with that. Because you did not want to hop on a 30-minute call with me later in the day and tell me that you tried taking along with equal lows right under it. Yep. Because I would have been like, Cole, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard today. Why would we be taking that trade?
Because he literally will call people out on the live and be like, that was a dumb trade. Like, you shouldn't be taking this. So.
Exactly. And it just goes to show how far you've come since the start, and in honestly such a short amount of time, and you're still progressing.
Learning stuff every day. Just learned about True Day Open literally
a
week ago.
It's true. Any last words out there for anybody who's, I guess, skeptic to finally take the risk within their trading? Because I know a lot of people, they think that they can do it on their own, but they don't see any success in it.
My word of advice back to my past self would have been find Jack earlier. Genuinely, because the amount of trouble I would have skipped, I would have not only saved $3,000, probably $500 just on a brokerage that didn't that I shouldn't have even been using in the first place.
Hmm.
But then now I was blowing accounts on alpha like left and right. It's like
Yep.
you kind of do have to see it through almost a little bit. Like you're gonna be in the gutter in trading. Like I feel like that's just how this skill works. Like you're eventually gonna just be in the gutter, and then you're kind of going to come to that light bulb moment. And I feel like now is that light bulb moment for me where you're like, okay, I can actually, you get your first payout, and now you're kind of getting the ball rolling. You're starting to understand everything a lot more.
Yep.
And so I would just say to kind of see it through. I mean, you definitely need at least someone talk to your parents at least. You know what I'm saying?
You have to have somebody that holds you accountable.
Yeah, you have to.
If anything, even just reach out to somebody who who is a good consistent trader within the markets, all right, and ask them for advice, because that's essentially what you guys have to be doing. You shouldn't be thinking that you can master this skill that 1% of people are able to do, and you think that you're going to be able to do it by yourself without any help. Yeah. Yeah. Free YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Cole. I appreciate the time for this call, and yeah, I'm excited to kind of just continue everything and see your growth. So, but yeah, thanks, Cole.
Thank you.